to have you on, and the reason we the last time we had this conversation and people were trying to sort of asking these questions is we were talking about NFTs. So when we spoke about NFTs, there were a lot of questions. So let's start from the basics again, just to remind everyone. What is an NFT and how is that different from blockchain, and why should I care in the life sciences?
Sure. So NFT is really a kind of a token, right? It's a non-fungible token, which means that you can't exchange it for another like token. It's unique. It's globally unique. A token really is a unit of essentially measure, but really unit of value for a blockchain, for a public blockchain. Private blockchains don't necessarily need this idea of tokenization, not in this case. Also, tokenization is at the heart of security for what's called a permissionless or a public network. The more tokens you have, the more widely and kind of evenly distributed, the more likely that you're essentially hack proof, right? Because it's very difficult to hack, like tens of thousands of people who have, kind of a little stake or token, in the network. But that's really kind of tokenization.
Jim,
go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. You talk about non-fungible being sort of unique, if you will. Is that the equivalent of, say, a MAC address? Because it is unique to an individual device. Yeah. Is that a token?
Yeah. You could look at it that way. Yeah. If essentially a MAC address, if you like, basically represents a specific device, right? Like your laptop, your 13-inch MacBook Pro or whatever it happens to be, and there's only one of them in the world, right? If again, I don't want to, and I'll have to go back to my back in the day of reading about MAC addresses. I don't want to say that's necessarily completely unique, and there's no way of having a duplicate MAC address. That does happen, but then you get a notification. However, certainly with non-fungible tokens, that is exactly the idea, that it represents essentially, it's a token is basically a long hash, it's a long number, but there's no other number like that. And then it could represent anything. It could represent some physical asset. It could represent essentially financial assets. It could represent a digital asset. It could represent a combination of that, all of it. And the reason, going back to your kind of question, is it different to blockchain? Of course not, right? It's a component of blockchain, right? But it's very hot right now, for lack of a better term, because I think people are realizing that you can take non-fungible tokens and you can take all kinds of assets, including newly kind of imagine assets like for instance LeBron's official dunk at the 2019 World Series, NBA championships, and then basically have an authentic or quote official version of that then is associated to an NFT, and then put that in a marketplace, and then somebody, like you could be a big LeBron fan or a big basketball fan, you say, you know what, I am willing to pay whatever the market rate is, $10,000 for this, and then I am the official owner of it. And then assuming that in like 5 years time, kind of like with baseball trading cards, the value of that dunk goes up since you're the official owner, then you could have an arbitrage opportunity and sell it, say in 5 years, and make like 10 times more the money. And in fact, as you probably have heard, that's already happened. That there's been stories about like kids, who bought NFTs and literally not overnight, but over a few weeks, the value of the underlying asset is increased by 5 times or 10 times, and they made a lot of money. That's the basic idea.